What happens when a country music star walks onto one of daytime television's most heated stages and refuses to play by the rules? What you're about to witness is a conversation that spiraled so far out of control that it ended with one of the most shocking exits in talk show history. This is the story of how Jelly Roll's appearance on The View turned into an unforgettable confrontation that nobody saw coming. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us what you think about what went down. Now, let's get into it. The studio lights were blazing as Jelly Roll settled into the guest chair, his tattooed arms visible beneath his rolled-up sleeves. The audience applauded as Whoopi Goldberg made the introduction, and the panel smiled warmly, all except Joy Behar, who had a different energy about her from the start. "So, Jelly Roll," Joy began, leaning forward with her cards in hand. "You've become this huge star, singing about redemption and second chances. But I have to ask, do you think someone with your past, with a criminal record, should really be the one lecturing people about how to live?" The studio went quiet. Sunny Hostin shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Jelly Roll nodded slowly, clearly processing the question. "Well, Joy, I appreciate you asking," he said calmly, "because that's exactly why my message resonates. I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm sharing my story, so maybe someone out there who's struggling doesn't have to make the same mistakes I did." Joy waved her hand dismissively. "But you profited from it, didn't you? You turned your mistakes into millions of dollars. Some people would call that exploitation." "Exploitation?" Jelly Roll's eyebrows raised. "I spent years in jail, Joy. I lost time with my family. I hurt people I loved. The music came from a place of pain, not some marketing strategy. Right? But now you're on tour, selling out arenas, making more money than most people will see in their lifetime. At what point does the redemption story become just another celebrity brand?" Whoopi tried to interject. "Joy, I think what he's trying to say is, no, let him answer." Joy cut her off. "I want to hear how he justifies it." Jelly Roll took a deep breath, his jaw tightening slightly. "Justify what, exactly?" "That I turned my life around. That I'm trying to help people who are where I was." "I'm confused about what you want from me here." "I want honesty," Joy shot back. "I want you to admit that this whole reformed bad boy thing is just an act. You saw an angle and you took it." The tension in the studio was thick enough to cut. Sarah N. looked down at her notes, clearly uncomfortable. Alyssa Farah Griffin glanced between Joy and Jelly Roll, unsure whether to intervene and act. Jelly Roll's voice remained steady, but there was an edge to it now. "My daughter knows her dad was in prison. My wife stood by me when I had nothing. Those aren't angles, Joy. Those are real people and real consequences." "Oh, please," Joy scoffed. "Everyone in Hollywood has a sob story. What makes yours so special?" "I never said it was special," Jelly Roll replied, his southern drawl becoming more pronounced. "I said it was real. And if you can't tell the difference between someone genuinely trying to make a difference and someone selling snake oil, then maybe you've been in this business too long." The audience gasped. Whoopi's eyes widened. Joy's face flushed red. "Excuse me?" Joy's voice went up an octave. "Did you just suggest that I don't know what I'm doing? I'm suggesting that you're so busy trying to catch me in some gotcha moment that you're missing the entire point," Jelly Roll said, leaning forward now. "I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be honest. Honest." Joy laughed bitterly. "You want to talk about honest? Let's talk about the fact that you've made a career out of being the poster child for second chances. While there are millions of people with records who can't even get a job at McDonald's, where's their redemption arc? That's exactly what I'm fighting for." Jelly Roll's voice rose for the first time. "I use my platform to talk about criminal justice reform, about giving people real opportunities. What are you doing about it besides sitting here judging me?" The studio fell silent. Joy's mouth opened and closed. Sunny tried to speak, but Joy held up her hand. "You don't get to come on this show and tell me what I do or don't do," Joy said, her voice shaking with anger. "I've been fighting for social justice since before you were born. Then why are you attacking someone who's on the same side?" Jelly Roll asked, his tone softer now but still firm. "What's this really about, Joy?" For a moment, something flickered across Joy's face, something vulnerable, but it was quickly replaced by defiance. "This is about accountability," she said. "This is about not letting people coast by on a good story when they haven't truly earned it. And who decides when someone's earned it? Jelly Roll asked quietly, because from where I'm sitting, it feels like no matter what I do, no matter how many lives I try to impact, there's always going to be someone like you telling me I'm not good enough. Joy stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. Someone like me? What's that supposed to mean? The other hosts looked at each other in panic. This was going completely off the rails. Jelly Roll remained seated, his hands folded in front of him as Joy stood over the table. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every second of the unraveling conversation. Someone like you, Jelly Roll repeated, his voice measured. Someone who's so focused on tearing people down that you can't see when someone's genuinely trying to build something positive. That's what I mean. Joy's hands were trembling now. I have spent decades on this show, holding people accountable decades. I'm not going to stop just because some country singer with a guitar and a tear jerking backstory walks in here thinking he's untouchable. Nobody said I'm untouchable, Jelly Roll countered. But there's a difference between accountability and cruelty, Joy. Right now, you're crossing that line. Whoopi finally stepped in, her voice authoritative. Okay, let's take a breath here. We're getting a little heated, and no, Joy interrupted, still standing. I'm tired of taking breaths. I'm tired of pretending that everyone who shows up here with a reformed image deserves a pat on the back. You want to know why I'm pushing you? Because I've seen this 1,000 times. People mess up, they get famous, they tell their story, and suddenly they're heroes. Meanwhile, regular people don't get that luxury. And you think, I don't know that? Jelly Roll asked, his voice rising again. You think I don't carry that with me every single day? I know how lucky I am. I know that my skin color, my gender, the fact that I could sing, all of that played into why I got chances other people don't get. I talk about that constantly. Joy challenged. Or do you just mention it in passing while you cash your checks and move on to the next arena? Alyssa Farah Griffin finally spoke up. Joy, I think that's unfair. He's literally testified before Congress about prison reform. He's put his money where his mouth is. Stay out of this, Alyssa, Joy snapped, not taking her eyes off Jelly Roll. The audience murmured. This wasn't the playful banter they were used to. This was something else entirely. Jelly Roll stood up now, too, matching Joy's energy. You know what, Joy? I came here thinking we were going to have a real conversation. I came here with respect for you and this show. But all you've done since I sat down is try to make me feel small. And I'm not going to sit here and let you do that. Oh, so now you're the victim? Joy laughed harshly. That's rich. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. I can take criticism, Jelly Roll said firmly. What I won't take is someone questioning my intentions without knowing a damn thing about me. You've made up your mind about who I am based on what? A 5-minute segment? Some headlines you read? I've done my research, Joy insisted. Then your research is incomplete. Jelly Roll fired back. Because if you really knew my story, if you really understood what I've been through and what I'm trying to do, you wouldn't be standing here acting like I'm some con artist. Joy's face was red now, her breathing heavy. You want to talk about what you've been through? Fine, let's talk about the people you hurt. Let's talk about the victims of your crimes. Where's their moment in the spotlight? Where's their redemption tour? The words hung in the air like poison. Jelly Roll's expression changed, something breaking behind his eyes. You don't think I think about them? His voice cracked slightly. You don't think I carry that guilt every single day? I can't undo what I did, Joy. I can't go back and make different choices. All I can do is try to be better and help other people not make those same mistakes. If that's not enough for you, then I don't know what else to tell you. Sarah N. reached out, touching Joy's arm gently. Joy, maybe we should. Joy pulled her arm away. Don't I'm making a point here. What point? Sunny Hostin interjected, her voice sharp. That redemption isn't real. That people can't change. Because if that's your point, then what's the purpose of any of this? What's the purpose of criminal justice reform, of rehabilitation, of any of it? The point, Joy said, turning to Sunny, is that we shouldn't be celebrating people just because they stopped doing bad things. That's the bare minimum. Nobody's asking you to celebrate me, Jelly Roll said quietly. I'm just asking you to see me as a human being who's trying. That's it. Joy turned back to him, and for a moment, the anger in her face flickered. But then she shook her head. You want me to see you as human? Then stop hiding behind your music and your story. Stop using your past as a shield against legitimate criticism. I'm not hiding behind anything, Jelly Roll said, his voice steady again. I'm standing right here answering your questions, taking your shots. What more do you want from me? I want you to admit that you're not special, Joy said, her voice breaking slightly. I want you to admit that the only reason you're here, the only reason anyone cares about your redemption, is because you got lucky. Because you had talent. Because the system worked for you in a way it doesn't work for everybody else. I've already said that, Jelly Roll replied, frustration evident in his tone. I said it 100 times. I don't know how many more ways I can say it before you actually hear me. Maybe I don't want to hear you, Joy said, and the raw honesty of the statement stunned everyone. Maybe I'm tired of hearing stories about people who made it out when so many people don't. Maybe I'm tired of the exceptions being treated like the rule. The silence that followed was deafening. Whoopi looked at Joy with concern. The other hosts exchanged worried glances. Then this was never about me, Jelly Roll said softly. This is about something else entirely. Joy's eyes filled with tears, but her jaw was set. Don't psychoanalyze me. I'm not, Jelly Roll said. I'm just saying that if you're this angry, if you're this hurt by my story, then maybe there's something deeper going on that has nothing to do with me. You don't know me, Joy said, her voice barely above a whisper. You're right, Jelly Roll agreed. I don't, just like you don't really know me. So maybe we should stop pretending we do. Joy stared at him for a long moment, and then something in her seemed to break. She wiped at her eyes quickly, trying to maintain her composure, but everyone could see the cracks forming. The studio was completely silent now, the audience holding their collective breath. You want to know what this is really about? Joy's voice was shaken. It's about watching people fail every single day. It's about seeing the system crush people who deserve better. And then someone like you comes along, and everyone acts like it's some kind of miracle, like it's proof that the system works. But it doesn't work. You're the exception, not the rule, and pretending otherwise is dangerous. Jelly Roll's expression softened. I never said I was the rule, Joy. I never said the system works. In fact, I've spent years saying the opposite. I've said over and over that I got lucky, that the system is broken, that it needs to change. We're on the same side here. Then why does it feel like we're not? Joy asked, and the vulnerability in her voice was striking. Because you're not listening, Jelly Roll said gently. You're so focused on what you think I represent that you're not hearing what I'm actually saying. Joy shook her head, tears streaming down her face now. I can't do this anymore. Whoopi stood up, reaching for Joy. Hey, it's okay. We can take a break. No, Joy said firmly, pulling away. She looked around at her co-hosts, at the cameras, at Jelly Roll. I can't do this anymore. Any of it. Sarah's eyes widened. Joy, what are you saying? I'm saying I'm done, Joy said, her voice stronger now despite the tears. I'm done with these conversations that go nowhere. I'm done pretending that having these debates actually changes anything. I'm done watching people suffer while we sit here and talk about it like it's entertainment. Joy, please, Sunny said, standing up now too. Let's just take a moment. I've taken enough moments, Joy interrupted. She turned to Jelly Roll. You want to know why I went after you? Because you make it look easy. You make redemption look like something anyone can achieve if they just try hard enough. And that's a lie. It's a beautiful lie, but it's still a lie. Jelly Roll nodded slowly. You're right. It's not easy. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And you're right that not everyone gets the chance. I got you. That's exactly why I'm trying to change things. Why I'm trying to use whatever platform I have to help create more opportunities for people who don't have them. And I believe you, Joy said. And the sincerity in her voice was surprising. I do, but believing you and believing in the system are two different things. And I just can't keep pretending that one person's success story means anything in the face of millions of failures. Then don't pretend, Jelly Roll said. Fight for those people. Use your voice, your platform. That's what you've always done. That's why people respect you. Joy laughed bitterly. Respect me. Did you not just hear yourself call me out on national television? I called out your approach, Jelly Roll clarified. Not you as a person. There's a difference, is there though? Joy asked. Because it feels like the same thing right now. Alyssa spoke up again, her voice gentle. Joy, we all get frustrated. We all have moments where this job feels impossible. But walking away in the middle of a show, that's not you. Maybe it should be, Joy said. Maybe walking away is exactly what I need to do. Whoopi's voice was firm now. Joy, you're upset. We all are. This got heated, and that's okay, but let's not make decisions we can't take back. Joy looked at Whoopi, really looked at her, and something passed between them. Years of friendship, years of working together, years of fighting battles side by side. I'm not making a rash decision, Joy said quietly. I've been thinking about this for a while. This just crystallized it for me. The audience was completely silent now. Some people had their hands over their mouths in shock. Jelly Roll spoke, his voice soft. Joy, if I contributed to this, if anything I said pushed you to this point, I'm sorry. That was never my intention. Joy turned to him, and for the first time since he sat down, she really seemed to see him. Not as an adversary, not as a symbol of something she disagreed with, but as a person. It's not your fault, she said. You actually gave me clarity. You reminded me that I've been doing this so long that I've forgotten why I started. I've forgotten that the point isn't to tear people down, it's to build something better. Then stay and build it, Sunny urged. Stay and keep fighting. Joy shook her head. I think I've been fighting so long that I don't know how to do anything else. And that's not healthy. Not for me, not for you all, not for the viewers at home watching this mess unfold. Sarah's voice was thick with emotion. Joy, you're part of this family. We need you here. You'll be fine without me, Joy said, managing a small smile. You're all brilliant. You don't need me to make this show work. Jelly Roll cleared his throat. For what it's worth, I think the show would be worse without you. You pushed me today. You challenged me in a way that most interviewers don't. That's valuable, even if it was uncomfortable. Joy looked at him with surprise. Are you seriously trying to convince me to stay right now? I'm just being honest, Jelly Roll said with a slight shrug. You want people to be accountable. You want people to be better? Someone has to hold their feet to the fire. That's what you do. That's what you've always done. And it's exhausting, Joy said, but there was less conviction in her voice now. Of course it is, Jelly Roll agreed. Being the person who asks the hard questions always is. But that doesn't mean it's not important. Whoopi seized the moment. He's right. Joy, you're tired, you're frustrated, and this conversation got out of hand. But don't let one bad interview end decades of incredible work. Joy closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. When she opened them again, she looked directly at the camera. I appreciate all of you, she said to the audience. I appreciate that you watch us, that you engage with us, that you care about these conversations. But I need to be honest with myself and with you. I don't know if I can keep doing this in the way it needs to be done. She turned to her co-hosts. I need time to think. I need time to figure out what I actually want, what I can actually contribute that matters. Take the time, Whoopi said immediately. Take all the time you need. But your chair will be here waiting for you. Joy nodded, tears still streaming down her face. She looked at Jelly Roll one more time. I'm sorry I ambushed you, she said. That wasn't professional. I'm sorry I got defensive, Jelly Roll replied. We both could have handled this better. Joy managed a genuine smile. Yeah, we could have. She took off her microphone, set it on the table, and without another word, walked off the set. The cameras followed her until she disappeared through the studio doors. The remaining hosts sat in stunned silence. Whoopi finally turned to the camera. We're going to take a break, she said, her voice thick with emotion. We'll be right back. But as the cameras cut away and the studio erupted in chaos, everyone knew that nothing would be the same. A line had been crossed, words had been said that couldn't be unsaid, and one of daytime television's most iconic personalities had just walked away from it all. Jelly Roll sat in the guest chair, his head in his hands, processing everything that had just happened. He had come to promote his music, to talk about his journey, to maybe inspire a few people. He never expected to be part of a moment that would go down in television history. So what do you think? Was Joy right to walk away? Did Jelly Roll cross a line? Drop a comment below with your thoughts.